Right, we're live. There's probably a long pause there while I was just sorting things out and just looking dopey doing nothing. But that's what happens when you go live, isn't it? Let's move this a bit closer to me. Big fat gob. Right, so anyway, welcome to, oh God, I forgot where I am. That old Yorkshire geek news. See, I'm hopeless. I'm getting all tongue-tied. Because I'm useless. Anyway, so, right, we're off and running. Right. Anyway, so we've got some news tonight. We've got some controversial news and a bit of sad news, if you sort of, and some sciencey news. So we'll crack on. I'll get the window up and we'll start reading. Well, hey, and this is the kind of sad news because I quite enjoyed this. I think. I know I watched it all. But I can't really remember what happened. But I remember I didn't hate it. Although I did at first. I think when I first started watching it, I'd only got so far, a few episodes, and I turned it off because it was just annoying me. And then I give it another go, and I quite enjoyed it. So anyway, Katie Sackhoff sci-fi drama, Another Life, cancelled by Netflix after 2 seasons. I've got something to say about Netflix and the way they treat series, but we'll read first. There will be no third season of Netflix's space drama Another Life, star Katie Sackhoff revealed on Twitter Monday. I mean, on Twitter on Monday. It's Americans that miss words out. The news, which is not surprising, comes 4 months after the release of Season 2 on October 14th. Sorry. I had a little swig of pop, and now it's I'm going to burp. I shouldn't do it, but it doesn't matter. I've tried water, and I still burp, so it's probably a nerves thing. I wish we could do more seasons, but sadly it's just not on the cards, Sackhoff wrote in her note to fans, thanking every one single person who watched and supported Another Life on Netflix. That's me, she's thanking me personally, bless her. Created by Aaron Martin, who also served as showrunner. Another Life centres on astronaut Nico Breckenridge Sackhoff, who is focused on searching for alien intelligence. She leads a crew on a mission to explore the genesis of an alien artifact. As Nico and her young crew investigate, they face unimaginable danger on what might very well be a one-way mission. The cast of the series, from alias Grace producer Hellfire Entertainment, or Harfire, also included Justin Chatwin as Eric Wallace, Samuel Anderson as William, and Elizabeth Faith Ludlow as Cass Isakovich. Among others, Noreen Halpern, executive produced for Harfire Entertainment. Or is it Hellfire or is it Hallfire? I don't know. And there's Katie's tweet thanking everybody. Oh, and that's it. Right, there we go. So anyway, she says, I'd like to thank everyone, single person. That should be Katie, you should have a space there. Everyone, or just everyone. Anyway, whatever. Who watched and supported Another Life on Netflix. To our crew and cast, thank you for always working so hard and being prepared. I wish we could do more seasons, but sadly, it's just not in the cards. See you on the next adventure. Love, Nico, who obviously was the character she played. Right, and there she is, and there's one of the other. Don't ask me the names. I watched it through once, and I didn't watch it again. Although I did kind of enjoy it, and season 2 ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. But we're not going to see what happens. Unless somebody else picks it up. Amazon, looking at you. But we'll see. But this is Netflix, though, isn't it? This is Netflix. Sometimes I think Netflix has too much content. So it doesn't give, a lot of time, it doesn't give series a chance to find a fan base. So if they lose viewers, after 1 or 2 seasons, that's it, they cancel them. And sometimes it takes longer than that for a series, to find its fan base. But I think Netflix sometimes, well, not some, all the time, has too much content. There's too much stuff coming out, and there's only so many hours in a day for people to watch stuff. And I think Another Life is a casualty of, because things get hidden, don't they, on Netflix? If they don't push it, it's not like a movie at the cinemas where there's an advertising campaign. Things tend really just appear on Netflix, and then it's word of mouth that that determines whether a show's successful or not. Like Squid Game, who'd heard of that? And suddenly, word of mouth starts about it, and suddenly it's a sensation. And but that never happened for Another Life. And it was well made, and it was quite good. There were some bits in it that, I didn't like. But honestly, I can't actually remember a great deal about it. But I do remember, it wasn't terrible, and I didn't hate it. But there were some annoying bits in it, I think. Not annoying on a, like a political level or whatever, about, diversity and all that. Yeah, fine, that's fair enough in this. Diversity's fine in this, and there is diversity in it. There's people of all colours, and there's people of all sexualities and all that. And it's fine in this because it works. So there we go. There'll be annoying things, like, logical things and, things connected to the script. But don't ask me what, because I can't remember, because I only watched it once, but I do remember sometimes going, ugh. Anyway, so that's that. So that's Another Life. We're not going to get a season 3, not on Netflix. Anyway, so it's over to you, Amazon or Apple or one of the others. They might pick it up, you never know. We'll have to wait and see, but I doubt it, because I don't think it was that popular. Right, anyway, next up, what should we do next? We've got a couple of Screen Rant articles next, and one Star Wars and one Star Trek. Which shall we do first? I don't eeny meeny on the tabs up here that you can't see. Eeny meeny miny mo, diddle doodle doodle doo, rumty dumpty dumpty dum, piddly piddly push. Right, Star Wars. Star Wars fulfilled George Lucas's Grogu wish by ignoring it. Star Wars creator George Lucas. Let's just make sure we can still see this. I haven't got my second screen set up yet, but so I've got to just click between windows, and it's still going. Are we still streaming? Yeah, we are. There's nobody in the chat and no viewers. It don't matter. Star Wars creator George Lucas had a specific request for Grogu, and the Book of Boba Fett was able to fulfill that request by ignoring it. And there's the Master and Ralph Wiggum. I'm in danger! Even though he can't even say that because he can't talk and he's 50. I've got my mate, my bestest mate in the whole wide world, hates Yoda. He thinks of Yoda as basically a green, hairless Fozzie Bear, which really, to all intents and purposes, he is, isn't he? He's a green, hairless Fozzie Bear because he's Franco's, and Franco's did Fozzie Bear. And I'm a bit like that with Grogu. He just does me head in. He was all cute at beginning, yes, we all loved him at beginning, but as time's gone on, he's doing me head in a bit now. Right, anyway, Star Wars creator George Lucas had a specific request for Grogu, and the Book of Boba Fett was able to address it by ignoring it. The Book of Boba Fett, remember I'm still saying Boba, I'm not saying Boba, because that's the way I roll, or should I say roll. Brought the beloved bounty hunter back to Star Wars. The series explains Boba Fett's Tamura Morrison story in the past and the present. I'm tickling in the middle going. During the past scenes, fans get to see how Boba Fett escaped the Sarlacc after his tumble into the beast's belly in 1983's Return of the Jedi. And it wasn't right good, was it? Let's do a quick scene, show him get out, and that's it. It should have had a whole episode devoted to how he got out of the Sarlacc pit, really. Or just play the bit from Robot Chicken at Star Wars. Where he's all going, hey, yo, I'm Boba Fett, yeah, and I'm shooting things, pew, 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 pew. What's that? Hey, that was funny. But as usual, I am digressing. Right, Boba Fett's present-day story plays out as the former bounty hunter attempts to become the new crime lord on Tatooine, and several Star Wars favourites return to help Boba Fett. They keep saying Boba Fett. In his task, including Din Djarin, Pedro Pascal, and Grogu. But was it Pedro Pascal, or was it just Pedro Pascal's voice? We'll never know. Or will we? In the series, Grogu makes a tough decision. The character formerly known as Baby Yoda, just put a little symbol, left Mando in The Mandalorian Season 2 to train to become a Jedi with Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill. As if you didn't know. However, Luke Skywalker gives Grogu a choice in Book of Boba Fett, drop the. After a single episode showcasing Grogu training with Luke, the Jedi Master offers Baby Yoda two options. The little creature can continue its Jedi training and accept Yoda's, Franco's, old lightsaber, or he can take Mandalorian armour dropped off by Din Djarin and follow the Mandalorian again. Grogu ultimately decides on the latter. It wasn't really armour, was it? It was like a mithril vest, wasn't it? You know, that was worth more than the planet, probably. But they never told him. Yeah. But we don't know how long he was with Luke, do we? So how long did that training go on for? We saw a bit of it. Essentially what we saw were, well, it was less than a day, wasn't it? Because in the episode, the Mandalorian goes to the planet, talks to Ahsoka, says, here, give him this. Because she won't let him go see Grogu. And then he buggers off. And then it shows like a montage of Luke training Grogu. And we think, oh, time's passing. Like it did with Luke and Yoda in The Empire Strikes Back. And then suddenly Ahsoka rocks up, says, here, Mandalorian's just been in, he left this. So it probably been about half an hour. Anyway, but we don't know how long he'd been there beforehand. Long enough for them to miss each other, so a week. George Lucas had one concern with Grogu, and Star Wars quickly fulfilled it. According to The Art of the Mandalorian Season 2, Dave Filoni, a producer for both The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, said, "What is this? Is this a book or a series, or what is it? I don't know." Anyway, I don't know. I had a talk with George at one point about the child, and his main concern was that the kid has to have a proper amount of training. And the Book of Boba Fett had an excellent way of handling it. In the series, Grogu gets only one episode of training before heading off with the Mandalorian again. Still, Luke notably says Grogu is remembering his past training and he's not actually teaching him anything. And with that, Star Wars gives a masterclass on ignoring a note. And there's Grogu. That looks a bit like it's like a shaved Gizmo, isn't it? Of Gremlins. Gizmo with alopecia. George Lucas wanted Grogu to have appropriate training, so Star Wars claimed he already did. One episode of training is certainly not enough to show that Grogu can use the Force properly. However, Luke Skywalker's line suggests Grogu had the skills all along. They were just lying dormant. With the line, Star Wars addresses George Lucas's training concerns without ever having to show Grogu go through more training. After all, Grogu is 50 years old. Things still can't talk. So it makes sense that he'd have some experience in that time. It's the perfect way to skirt the issue and reunite Grogu with Mando again. Yeah, he might be 50. Yeah, and they're saying, oh, yeah, he's adept of the Force. But he can't talk. He can't seem to grasp that it's wrong to eat an entire civilization of lizard woman's eggs, frog lady, whatever she was called. And he just, he can't not eat frogs and amphibians that he just sees about. Little sod. Anyway, just because Grogu left Luke Skywalker, it doesn't mean his training is necessarily over, though Luke Skywalker makes Grogu choose between being a Mandalorian and Jedi. He could be both. According to Star Wars, Tar Vizsla, the character who created the Darksaber, was both a Mandalorian and a Jedi, so Grogu could have more Jedi training in the future. But thanks to Luke Skywalker in the Book of Boba Fett, it makes sense why he put his lessons on hold, just as Luke did when he rushed off in The Empire Strikes Back to save his friends. But then when he went back, no more training do you require, so he must have trained him enough. So there we go, so that's that. So Disney ignored George Lucas, sort of, but not really. Right, sure we're still going. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. Hang on, where are we? There we go. There we go. Yes, we're still streaming. We're still streaming. Where's me tab? There it is. Right, next up, Star Trek. More from... Oh, screen rant. As usual, the links are in the description below. If you want to see, upcoming things that I'm going to read tonight, just look in the description because the links are there. Anyway, Patrick Stewart interview, and don't forget to like and subscribe and share the videos that I've done. Obviously, share this one, but it's live at the moment. What else? Hit the what they call it, notification bell, so you'll be told when I do new things, new videos or live streams. And what else? That's it, isn't it? Oh, and drop a comment or join the chat. If you're out there in internet land. Right, anyway, Patrick Stewart interview, Star Trek Picard Season 2. Screen Rant interviews Patrick Stewart about why Star Trek Picard Season 2 is about the road not taken and why Q continually torments Jean-Luc. And there he is. In Star Trek Picard Season 2, Patrick Stewart returns as Jean-Luc Picard, who is plunged into a new adventure involving time travel and an alternate reality of a fascist federation. Kurtzman Trek hates the Federation, doesn't it? It seems to, because it does everything it can to subvert, the essentially it's a paradise in Roddenberry's vision, but Kurtzman just wants to, subvert it all the time. Little jibes, Section 31, all this. I know Section 31 created, Deep Space Nine, but it didn't have a whole organisation. It was one man, wasn't it? It was Sloan, but anyway, right, where were we? Fascist Federation. Star Trek Picard Season 2 also features the return of Star Trek The Next Generation fan favourites Q, John Delancey, Guinan, Whoopi Goldberg, and the Borg Queen, but this time played by Annie Wershing and not names. Alice Krieg. And who else? Somebody else played her in Voyager, didn't she? Oh, I know her name, and it's there. I can see her face because she's the Borg Queen, and she's been in other stuff. Oh, it'll come to me. I'll be 3 stories in, and it'll pop in my head. So brace yourself. Screen Rant interviewed Patrick Stewart about how Star Trek Picard Season 2's theme of the road not taken, how Q is different from his appearances on TNG, and why the immortal being continually torments Jean-Luc Picard. Let's see what they're asking him. Screen Rant asks, Picard Season 2 is themed around the road not taken. Why is it important for Jean-Luc to explore the road not taken at this stage in his life? Remember, he's in his 90s, isn't he? But he died at the end of last season, and that was just an android, isn't he, with Picard's neural net or whatever, memories, his personality imprinted. Because it's stupid. I went on about this in yesterday's show. So look at that one. And Patrick Stewart replies, because he's still alive, except he ain't. And his life is continuing, and he sees that he has been, in a sense, hiding from certain aspects of his nature, his personality, his ambitions and his wants, and he's now trying to make adjustments to them. So you're not, Patrick. You forgot, haven't you, already? You forgot. You're an android. You're dead. You died at the end of Season 1, and you had your brain, essentially, dumped into an android body. Why didn't they just put Data's, what were left of Data's mind? It were all there that Patrick Stewart talked to him, didn't it? It were all there because they, and put that in one of these new android bodies and use that magical machine that they had that can fix anything to fix Picard because he would dying, wasn't he, of something or other. But no, they made him a robot. I know he's an android, but I'm saying robot because it sounds less technical. We think of Jean-Luc as someone who is always helpful to people, but now there are other elements of that helpfulness, caring, perhaps even loving, and taking responsibility in ways that he hasn't quite before. And there's Picard and Q. I wonder, are we going to be told why Q looks old? I know it looks old because John Delancey's got old, but Q can look like anything he wants. He can look like this can of Coke if he wanted to, which I'll have a drink of. Thanks, Q. I'll burp in a bit. I'll let you know when it's coming. I've always wondered, what is it about Picard that Q keeps coming back to torment him? Hasn't an immortal being got anything better to do? Patrick Stewart replies, I've always felt that the reason for Q tormenting Picard is that Q recognises something of himself in Jean-Luc. He admired that something else... He admired that something else. Yeah, in that Q recognises something of himself. Yeah, he admires that something. Patrick, behave. So now, as you will see, in Season 2, there are changes in Q's nature. He's not the Q that we knew from the days of Encounter at Farpoint. Oh, that bit don't rhyme. Should have said, he's not the Q that we knew from Episode 1 of TNG. Oh, no, not Jew. Heck. Oh, that escalated quickly, didn't it? Sorry. Looking back, what has Star Trek meant to you? Going back to this. Yes, I do think Q kind of admires Picard, although he's always tormenting him. You know, it obviously has some affection for humanity and Picard in particular. Although in Voyager, he kind of, fancied Janeway, didn't he? But who didn't? I mean, she was a handsome woman. But yeah, I think Q did admire. He'd never say it, obviously, would he? But I think he did admire Picard. So there you go. Surprising, he didn't appear as Picard. If he admired him that much, you'd think he'd try and, look like him, wouldn't you? But he didn't. Where were we? Looking back, what has Star Trek meant to you? Patrick Stewart replies, well, I'm not looking back. On Monday morning, my alarm clock will go for 4:30. And I will get ready. Is that in the morning? I presume that's in the morning. And I will get ready to travel to the sound stages where we're filming. And I will be Jean-Luc Picard one more time. We're very proud of Season 2. I think it's got a lot to say for itself. And there we go. Star Trek Picard premieres Thursday, March the 3rd. So it's not long on Paramount+. So I hope Season 2 is good. Yesterday, obviously, I said I quite liked Season 1 until the last episode. And then I decided, no, I didn't really like Season 1. I convinced myself I liked Season 1. But it really wasn't very good, was it? So there we go. So I hope Season 2 is better. And as I said, there's people that are working on it, like Doug Drexler, who say it is good. And he's worked on some good stuff. So I hope they change it around. But I'm not building my hopes up because it's Kurtzman Trek, and Kurtzman Trek isn't real Trek. Because they don't know how to do it. Right, so we'll move on, and we're on to a bit more controversy now. Or is it controversy? Take your pick. It's Doctor Who and John Barrowman, right? Right, John Barrowman, he says it wasn't sexual harassment. John Barrowman defends exposing himself on Doctor Who set and hits out at cancel culture for trying to strip my career after 35 years. Right, John Barrowman has defended exposing himself on the set of Doctor Who and insisted his behaviour was not sexual harassment. The actor, 54, was the same age as me. Oh, I shouldn't have said that, should I? I'm supposed to be old. I am. I feel old. Who played Jack Harkness on the show and its spin-off Torchwood, issued an apology in May for the historic incidents, with the star since dropped from his judging role on ITV's Dancing on Ice. Speaking on Tuesday's Good Morning Britain, John hit out at cancel culture, saying it's gone way too far and that people tried to take his career away. Well, that's what they do. They're not better to do, have they? You do one thing and then that's it. It's like a zero tolerance culture, isn't it, what it is now on social media. Asked how he turned things around following the controversy, John said, well, I don't think it's me that turned me around. It was tomfoolery and it was silly. We had a great time on set. It wasn't sexual harassment. The public have seen that. Cancel culture has tried to strip my career after 35 years. The stories are not new. I wrote about them in my autobiography. Excuse me. Sorry. A frog in my throat. I must be turning into Grogu. He added, cancel culture are like hyenas that are trying to strip the meat off the bone. Cancel culture has gone way too far. I am ready to move on now, and so is everyone else. John said the fallout from the controversy was difficult to deal with, and he was deeply worried about his reputation. He said it was very traumatic and upsetting for me and my family. Companies believed what was said on Twitter instead of people talking to me. I was not sleeping. I was so worried about what people were going to say. We need to learn to forgive. It was a different time now. It was a different time now. I mean then. I wouldn't do that now, as times are different. If I told all the secrets of the entertainment industry, I could write a huge book. I believe you, John. I believe you. John everybody knows what it's like, don't they? John previously said the drama surrounding his flashing on the Doctor Who set was exaggerated, adding all the people that are making the fuss about it, they weren't there. They don't know the context of things that were done. Well, we've heard that he used to put his willy on people's shoulders, didn't he? Where's the context of that? The TV star described his past actions on set as silly behaviour and insisted on ITV's Lorraine that he would never do it now. I'm not saying it's right that he did it, but it's not end of world, is it? And I bet at the time the person he did it to, probably they'll have been shocked at first, and then they probably had a good laugh about it. But he shouldn't do it. When questioned by Lorraine if he felt his behaviour had crossed the line, John agreed that if it were to happen today, then it would be, but was quick to accuse people of turning his actions into sexual harassment. He explained, I think that if it was now, I would be crossing the line. I think that something that happened 15 years ago, it was bawdy behaviour, silly behaviour. It was being done in the confines of the set, and we were like a family working together. The fact that it was stories that I've already told. I've been telling them for years. I haven't hidden anything. They've been exaggerated, and they've tried to turn them into sexual harassment, which it absolutely is not. The actor went on, the one thing for me, all the people that are making the fuss about it, they weren't there. They don't know the context of things that were done. The continued bashing is not good. We've moved on. And there's pictures of him. That's him on this morning. And there's him as Captain Jack with some Daleks. Like I said, I would never do it now, but what we're not allowing people and myself to do, we're not allowing people to learn to adapt and to change, and that's the most important thing. When asked if he feels that he has changed and adapted from how he was in the past, John said, of course I have, and we've moved on. From this point, I want to move on and continue to move forward. I wonder what accent he's doing it. Is he doing it in his American accent or his Scottish one? Probably his American one. I didn't watch it. Pardon. I told you to warn you, and it just came, didn't it? Sorry, I do apologise. John had to tell Lorraine that he felt nervous about giving the interview and admits he feels like he constantly has to monitor everything he does, adding that he'll continue to be his outrageous self, but in a different context. He said, I'm extremely nervous, and that is not me. The fact of the matter is I know throughout my career and everything I've done, it's promoting people to be yourself, to not be ashamed of who you are, and at the moment what's happening is I feel like I'm having to monitor everything. I'll get past that, I'll still have fun, I'll still be silly, I'll still be outrageous, but in a different context to what it was 15 years ago. And we can't change that, it's not going to happen again. There he is saying, it's not going to happen again, honest, or my will is that big. Maybe he's saying that, I don't know. No charges were brought against the media personality after allegations about him exposing himself were revealed in May following more serious allegations of sexual harassment against his Doctor Who co-star Noel Clarke. The incidents came to light in a resurfaced video on YouTube from 2014 and filmed at Sci-Fi Convention Chicago TARDIS. It was revealed by the Guardian newspaper, which had investigated Clarke's behaviour on the Doctor Who set. In an interview in front of a live audience, Clarke is seen regaling fellow cast members Annette Badland and Camille Cuduri with tales of John's behaviour on the set of Doctor Who, exposing himself every 5 seconds. In an interview with Weekend magazine, John said his behaviour on set was to diffuse awkwardness whenever he was filming a sex scene in Torchwood. He said, as Captain Jack Harkness, I was the star of Torchwood, so I felt it was down to me to lead the company and keep them entertained. When I was doing a nude scene or a love scene, it was clear in the script I'd be naked and everyone would have to know about that at least 48 hours in advance. So I'd be waiting in my trailer wearing just a robe with a sock over my parts. Then if I were standing waiting to film a scene where I needed to be nude and someone came into view, I'd make a joke to put them and myself at ease. My actions were simply designed to diffuse any potential awkwardness among the cast and crew. He added, I've never been someone who's embarrassed about his body, so it didn't bother me if anyone saw me naked. The motivation for what I'd call my tomfoolery was to maintain a jokey atmosphere. There was absolutely nothing sexual about my actions, and nor have I ever been accused of that. John revealed he was called for a meeting with Doctor Who and Torchwood executive producer Julie Gardner, who told him to rein in his behaviour. The actor added he can now see his behaviour was juvenile and it would not be something he would do today. It was announced in October that John would not return to Dancing on Ice, where he has since been replaced on the panel by Oti Mabuse. I don't watch it. A source told The Sun at the time this will be devastating for him. Clearly feel it's not a good look to have someone like John centre stage on a family-friendly show. Representatives for the channel said, "We thank John Barrowman for 2 brilliant years on the Dancing on Ice panel and are pleased to be working with him again as host of the forthcoming All-Star musical specials." A show insider added, "John has not been sacked from Dancing on Ice and we continue to work with him at ITV." John's team said John is thrilled to be returning to work for ITV as host on the new All-Star musicals, but declined to comment on his departure from the skating show. And he's like, oh no, we haven't done yet. But yeah, that's just... They took him off the Dancing on Ice thing, and basically, yeah, they kind of did sack him, didn't they? But they like moved him out of the way, and they said, "John, you can't do this anymore. But we're not sacking you. But we need to let this die down. And when the dust settled, we'll give you something else." And that's what they've done. So. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying it's right either. I'm just saying it's the way it is. John previously told The Guardian his high-spirited behaviour was only ever intended in good humour to entertain colleagues on set and backstage, and not sexual harassment, as he apologised for his past behaviour. Where are we? With the benefit of hindsight, I understand that upset may have been caused by my exuberant behaviour, and I've apologised for this previously, he said. Since my apology in November 2008, or 2008, my understanding and behaviour have also changed. John broke his silence in May, taking to Instagram to share a video with fans from the garden of his Palm Springs home. Can't be bad. He said, "Hi everybody, it's John here, and I just want to say thank you very much to all of my fan family and everybody who has reached out with the countless messages of support over the last few weeks. It has meant such a great deal to me and has really touched me to know that people are supporting me and standing by me and sending their love and all their appreciation and kind words." He signed off his message by saying, "Hopefully we'll all be back together soon and I look forward to it. Much love, thank you." And that is it, that's it. So there we go. So, yeah, but I think the thing here, it's less about him getting his willy out and doing lewd things on set. Because they're actors, aren't they? That's what they do. That's what actors do. They're trained to basically have no inhibitions. Because to be a good actor, you've basically to have no inhibitions because you've got to put yourself in front. You've basically got to embarrass yourself professionally, haven't you, in front of people. That's what being an actor is, or a performer. And so they have a different mindset, don't they, to normal people, like me and most other people who aren't in show business. They have a different mindset, and I think they'll do things sometimes that regular people that are not in showbiz might find a bit off-putting. What is that the word? A bit off-putting, a bit, as I said, a bit. Controversial. So there we go. So, but I don't think you should, unless he's genuinely, be sexually harassing somebody, which he says there's been no charges brought. He says he wanted, was just acting the fool, which he probably was. It's like being out with your mates, I suppose, at pub, and one of them puts his willy in your pint or whatever. Never happened to me, but you hear stories, don't you? It's that sort of thing. And there we go. It's just his way, and he doesn't do it anymore, thank goodness. Well, for the people around him. Yeah, so that's it. So there we go. Anyway, next up, we'll try and lighten the mood a bit now. Got some John Carpenter news. I know it's not in me list, but this cropped up after I did that. So, John Carpenter is interested in making a sequel to The Thing. Can you see it? Yeah, you can still. We're still live. We're still going. Yes, we are. We are. Where were I? John Carpenter is interested in making a sequel to The Thing, and hints, discussions are already happening. I just think there's another bit of story to tell there, and there's Kurt Russell in The Thing. Sorry, John Carpenter's The Thing. The Thing director, John Carpenter, has revealed that he's open to making a sequel to the iconic sci-fi horror movie, hinting that discussions are already taking place. When asked which of his movies he would like to revisit for the sequel in an interview with Fandom, Carpenter said, maybe The Thing, maybe Prince of Darkness. Ooh, yeah. I can see a little bit more of that, but we'll see. You never know in this business, you really don't. I thought you just said discussions are already happening, but in that is like, maybe The Thing, maybe Prince of Darkness. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, let's read on. The Thing was released in 1982 and follows a group of American researchers in Antarctica who encounter the titular Thing, a parasitic alien that can imitate other life forms. The team is overcome with paranoia as they realise that any one of them could be the Thing. The movie stars Kurt Russell as the team's helicopter pilot. One of the two, weren't they? A prequel, also titled The Thing, starring Mary Elizabeth Winstead, was released in 2011, but no sequels or reboots have followed. Scroll. I just think there's another bit of story to tell there, which I'm not going to tell you about, Carpenter continued, but there have been some discussions about The Thing and what we could do, because as far as we know, both those two main characters, Childs, Keith David, and McCready, Russell, are still alive. They were alive at the end of The Thing, so maybe they're still alive. Yeah, but apparently they did film, didn't they, a scene that obviously wasn't included. I've never seen it in deleted scenes either, but I'm sure I've seen somewhere that they filmed it and decided not to include it, or were it written and they decided not to film it? I can't remember, but anyway, where it shows them being the rescue team arrives, and they do survive, and the rescue team arrives and it shows them they're being tested, and neither of them's the Thing, and there we go. So it had a slightly happier ending, but they decided to go with the ambiguous one. Anyway, when asked if Russell would return for a sequel, Carpenter said that he didn't know. Carpenter has already directed movies like the original Halloween, The Fog, and Escape from New York. He hasn't directed since 2010's The Ward, a psychological horror movie starring Amber Heard. Boo! But he was an executive producer on 2018's Halloween and 2021's Halloween Kills. Yeah, executive. That's just a title, isn't it, though? He didn't care. He said, "Auntie, people can do what they want with Halloween, and he'll just keep enjoying the big checks he keeps getting." While we wait to see if a sequel to The Thing ever comes to the big screen, check out our list of the best horror movies of all time. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. He's saying there's discussions, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, I don't think, because The Thing, the one with Mary Elizabeth Winstead, which I thought were alright, wasn't terrible, didn't do well enough. And the studio meddled. They had really good practical effects, like the original one did. Rob Bottin did the practical effects of the original, and they did practical effects again for it was a prequel, wasn't it? Showing what happened on the Norwegian base. Hey, Sweden, they're Norwegians, Mac. Yeah. And apparently they had all practical effects, but the studio suit said no, it's got to be CG because everything was CG, then. And so they did CG, and it looked crap for the most part. And which was a shame, because it wasn't a bad film. So there we go. John Carpenter wants to do The Thing. I mean, he said there, maybe The Thing, maybe Prince of Darkness, and then he goes down on to say there have been discussions about The Thing. So what's it going to be, John? What's it going to be? Don't know. Right, list time. Time for a list. 10 underappreciated sci-fi movies worth a second look. Don't forget about these bold science fiction features. Maybe I've seen some of them, maybe I haven't. Anyway, let's have a read. The sci-fi genre has expanded immensely. I'm going to have to have a drink, sorry. And I'll be burping. Warning, yeah. The sci-fi genre has expanded immensely over the last few decades, bringing in new, ambitious visions and reaching new heights for what's possible. While some films have explored the further reaches of the universe to tell imaginative stories, others have brought unique sci-fi stories right to Earth. Not to mention, as superhero movies have come into prominence and big franchises like Star Wars and Dune have upped the ante for cinematic visual spectacles, the sci-fi genre has gained a wider audience, making it one of the most popular modern film genres. However, some great sci-fi stories still go underseen and underappreciated, even with a major star leading a uniquely ambitious story and or some stunning visual effects. Some sci-fi movies just can't break out like they deserve to. That doesn't mean they should go unrecognised though, so there's no better time than now to look at the sci-fi genre's biggest hidden gems. Ad Astra 2019. I thought that were crap. Anyway, James Gray's sci-fi epic Ad Astra was one of that year's best films. In your opinion, with his excellent blend of realism and fantasy mixed with a deeply personal story of legacy. Gray's vision of humanity's exploration of space in the not-so-distant future not only had incredibly memorable visuals that defined cinema-caliber spectacle and a one-of-a-kind Brad Pitt performance, but also a thought-provoking story about humanity that's surprisingly touching and relevant. I didn't like it, sorry. Yes, it looked nice, and I suppose Brad Pitt is always good, I suppose, in everything, but it didn't appeal to me. I thought it were boring, to be honest. Boring and what's the word? I can't think of the word because I just can't. But I didn't like it. Kin 2018. I've not seen this one. Kin from directors Jonathan and Josh Baker was the victim of poor release timing as it was thrown into theatres in August 2018 without much love or care, and it's a shame because it showed a lot of great potential. It's story of a young boy on the run from a vengeful gang as well as some otherworldly soldiers, is a fun, thrilling adventure with some strong action visuals, not to mention that surprise ending cameo is a pleasant surprise and shows Kin's franchise potential. I've not seen that, you see. So I'll have a look at that, but they liked Ad Astra and I didn't, so anyway, we'll look into that. Annihilation 2018. Now, this were alright, I quite enjoyed this. Ex Machina director Alex Garland delivered another strong sci-fi story with Annihilation that contained a truly haunting atmosphere and eerie visuals. Speaking of Ex Machina, it were alright. I quite liked Ex Machina, but it didn't amaze me. But a film that came out about the same time and had a fraction of the budget, even though Ex Machina didn't have a massive budget, this one had even less of a budget, was a British film called The Machine, which starred somebody whose name I can't remember, but it had she plays she's in DC's Legends of Tomorrow. She plays I forgot her name. She wears white. She plays her. But I forgot her name. Sorry, I do apologise. I'm hopeless with names. Yeah, and also it had Toby Stephens in as well, and he builds this android basically. That's who she is, and it's really good, and I think it's better than Ex Machina, and nobody knows about it. But it's a film that you should look for. The Machine, starring Toby Stephens and this other one whose name I forgot. I do apologise to you if you're watching. Right, Annihilation is sci-fi horror at its finest, as its central mystery surrounding a military team's investigation into a previous team's disappearance in an unnatural zone is constantly chilling and intriguing. The film provides some intense suspense throughout, as well as some terrifying sci-fi visuals. I think what they mean there is, the bear thing, the bear monster thing, whatever it was. That was a very tense scene and quite scary. Right, Oxygen 2021. I've not seen this one either. Netflix delivered a tense sci-fi thriller last year with Alexandra Ayers. Is it Ayers? I don't know how you pronounce it. Ayers' new film Oxygen. newest film, Oxygen, but it got undeservedly buried among the service's overcrowded library. See, I just said that, didn't I? Not, 10 minutes ago. Netflix has too much content. Oxygen is the kind of claustrophobic thriller Netflix subscribers love, as it takes viewers on a nerve-shredding thrill ride as a woman tries to escape a futuristic coffin by piecing together her past before her oxygen runs out. Arja's similar but effective thrills and Melanie Lawrence's excellent performance make Oxygen a can't-miss shocker, and the story piques your interest with its discovery. Oh yeah, I've not seen it, but I've heard of it, yeah. Is it a bit like a sci-fi version of that one with Ryan Reynolds in where he's buried alive? It might even be called that, I don't know. But I've not seen that either. Right, Possessor 2020. Oh, this is the one with Andrea Riseborough, isn't it? The latest film from director Brandon Cronenberg. Is he David Cronenberg's son? Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know, I probably am. Possessor was plenty of people's favourite movie of 2020, and for good reason. It is one of the coolest sci-fi premises in decades. I've not seen it. It's the story following a secret agent who performs contracts by possessing people as her latest assignment takes an unfortunate turn. Is an exciting and ambitious sci-fi story that constantly shocks you with its mind-bending thrills. I'll learn to read one of these days. What, with 21 episodes in, I still can't read. I'm as bad as Baby Yoda, who's 50 and can't talk. Andrea Riseborough's performance is truly haunting, and Cronenberg lives up to his family name with the chilling and grotesque sci-fi horror visuals. I quite like Andrea Riseborough. She's a good actress. She's one of these that she's not a classic beauty, yet she does have a certain attraction about her. I think it's a confidence that comes through, I think, because she's not a classic beauty, is she, by any means. That's not a, I'm not knocking her, because I do like her. She's a great actress, and she'd be good in that. So I'll have to look for that one. I've heard of that one as well. So, but I've not seen it, and I've not seen this one either. Black Box 2020. What's this one on? Does it say? It doesn't say. Blumhouse has plenty of hidden gems under its banner, but none are as enticing or thrilling for sci-fi fans as Black Box. I'll just do a quick check and make sure we're still plodding on. We are, right. Directed by Emmanuel Osai Kufo Jr. I apologise, I probably butchered that pronunciation. Might seem pretty average with its story of an amnesiac man encountering a dark presence in his mind when he takes on an experimental procedure. But it's truly so much more. It delivers a wild twist that absolutely grabs your attention, as well as an excellent Mahmoudou Athi performance that can't be missed. It'll literally blow your mind. Sorry, I'm laughing at my attempts at pronouncing these names, because I'm useless. I am useless. So I've not seen that one either, but if it's Blumhouse, it's probably all right, because, Blumhouse films are generally above average, aren't they? That's, at minimum, they're generally above average. So it's probably all right. And it was probably made for next to nothing, which sometimes means for a better film, to be honest. The Vast of Night. I have seen this one, and I really enjoyed it, 2019. Most might not know it, but Prime Video has an incredibly eerie homage to 50s sci-fi stories with Andrew Patterson's The Vast of Night. Through its story of a 50s radio DJ and a switchboard operator discovering a strange radio frequency, The Vast of Night delivers a sci-fi alien discovery story that fully evokes classic alien storytelling and utilises chilling sound design and suspense to create a nostalgic yet fresh experience. Isn't it called something else, though? Because you watch it and you get the feeling that you're being introduced to an anthology series, that this is going to be like just the first of many. The Vast of Night is the overarching name of the series. Maybe there'll be more, I don't know. And I think this story has another name, but I can't remember what it is. I've seen it once, but I can't remember. I should do my research, shouldn't I, before I come on. But to be honest, as I've said before, I find these articles and then I'll have a quick look and then I think, yeah, we'll talk about this. We'll read this out. And then my ignorance is on display for all to see. Black Mirror Bandersnatch 2018. I've seen this. I enjoyed it. I think I watched it a couple of times, because you have to make your choices, haven't you, through your remote. And I wanted to see, what happens if you made different choices, and it was alright. It's never a bad idea to turn to Netflix's Black Mirror for some innovative sci-fi storytelling that hits close to home in scary ways, and the series raised their bar with its film Bandersnatch. With a notable director like David Slade at the helm, Black Mirror Bandersnatch is an experience like no other, with its interactive storytelling offering each viewer their own experience and its creeper meta moments feeling right at home with what Black Mirror is all about. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I say, I watched it a couple of times and I think I got a different ending each time. I can't actually remember. But yeah, it's alright. I think it won some awards. Did it win Emmys? I think it won Emmys that we talked about yesterday. Yeah, so that's one I know. Colour Out of Space. Yes, I've seen this one as well. It's a Nicolas Cage one, isn't it? 2019. No list of underrated sci-fi films will be complete without the appearance of a H.P. Lovecraft story. And thankfully, director Richard Stanley delivered a Lovecraft adaptation worth talking about with Colour Out of Space. The slow descent into madness that Colour Out of Space brings as a mysterious meteorite bends and distorts the reality of an unsuspecting family is a pure delight to watch, especially with those creepy Lovecraftian visuals. It's constantly booming with eye-dazzling colour and has a delightful performance from the always enjoyable Nicolas Cage. Yeah, it's good. It's got a bit of body horror and stuff, and as it says, that psychedelic visuals, and it's worth watching. It's good. Oh, pardon me. Had some pop. Ready Player One 2018. What's this doing? I thought this was a blockbuster. Though his adaptation of Ernest Cline's 2011 novel Ready Player One, Steven Spielberg delivered an instant sci-fi classic full of adventure and heartfelt nostalgia. Nearly every inch of Ready Player One contains amazing nods to pop culture that's excellently wrapped up in an engaging sci-fi adventure inside a visually stunning digital world that embodies the best elements of Spielberg's filmmaking. Yeah, but what's it doing in this list? This is like underappreciated films. This was like a blockbuster. It made tons of money, didn't it? Well, I think it did. And it's alright, Yeah, fair enough. It passes time. It's not a bad film by any means. And, it's, as I said, it's got lots of, nods to stuff. I think, like I said, The Iron Giant, and there's that The Shining scene, which I think were quite good, The Shining scene. Spoilers. But yeah, it's alright, but I don't know what it's doing in this list. This is for underappreciated films, and I think Ready Player One was appreciated in its time. Was that it? Was that last one? Was that the last one? Yeah, well, that was the last one. Right. Go back up to top then. Ad Astra. Oh. So there we go. That's 10 underappreciated sci-fi movies worth a second look. So it should be 9 and Ready Player One. Shouldn't it? And some of them I've seen, yes, and they are worth seeing, and some of them I haven't seen, apart from Ad Astra, which I didn't like, and some of them I haven't seen, and I'll look into. Right, that's all the entertainment news. Now we've got some science news. We've got a bit of space and a bit of dinosaurs. Except it's not a dinosaur, but we'll get into that. Remains of world's largest Jurassic pterosaur recovered in Scotland. Discovery shows pterosaurs with a 2.5 metre wingspan existed about 25 million years earlier than previously thought. And there's an artist's impression, because we haven't travelled back in time to take photos of them. It might be best known today for its otters and puffins, but 170 million years ago, the Isle of Skye was home to an enormous flying reptile with a wingspan bigger than a king-size bed, researchers have revealed. Fossil hunters in Scotland say they have recovered the remains of the world's largest Jurassic pterosaur, adding the creature known informally as a pterodactyl also boasted a mouthful of sharp teeth for spearing and trapping fish. Oh my God. With a wingspan of about 2.5 metres or larger, that's about what? About 8 feet, something like 7 feet, 8 feet. Or larger, around the size of the largest flying birds today. Well, yeah, a bit less than the largest flying birds today. Such as the wandering albatross, the creature sheds new light on the evolution of pterosaurs, given they were not thought to have reached such a size until about 25 million years later. Because obviously, towards the end of the Cretaceous, the pterosaurs that we had, like Quetzalcoatlus and another one that I can never remember the name of, they were like massive, weren't they? And Pteranodon, they had like wingspans of like 25 feet, didn't they? What's that, 7 metres-ish, didn't they? And some were even bigger in terms of wingspan. Anyway, when this thing was living about 170 million years ago, it was the largest animal that had ever flown, at least that we know of, said Professor Steve Broussat, a co-author of the research from the University of Edinburgh. We've really dragged back in time the evolution of large pterosaurs, he said. Broussat added previous finds suggested pterosaurs did not grow much larger than about 1.6 to 1.8 metres in wingspan during the Jurassic, only reaching much larger sizes during the Cretaceous period. There were pterosaurs living at the end of the Cretaceous when the asteroid hit that were the size of jet fighters, said Broussat, referring to the mass extinction 66 million years ago that wiped out non-avian dinosaurs, pterosaurs and myriad other creatures. The latest discovery calls into question the idea competition with birds may have initially driven the boom in pterosaur size. Birds evolved from dinosaurs around the time when this pterosaur was living, said Broussat, although he added birds may have exerted evolutionary pressures for them to grow larger still. It is not the first time pterosaurs have been unearthed in the UK. The fossil hunter Mary Anning unearthed what was dubbed her flying dragon in 1828. Excuse me. Diet Coke today. Broussat said the new discovery, dubbed dark, meaning both winged reptile and reptile from sky in Scottish Gaelic, whatever. Apologise to Scottish people, is notable for the completeness of the fossil. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sure the critical drinker might know how to pronounce that. It's probably about 70% complete, which is really just outstanding for a pterosaur, because these things are very difficult to fossilise, he said, noting the walls of many of the bones are not much thicker than a sheet of paper. Broussat said an analysis of the bones revealed the animal was at most a teenager and was still growing, adding the adult wingspan could have been more than 3 metres. The team also carried out scans of the pterosaur's skull, allowing them to build a digital model of the brain. The results revealed the animal had very large optic lobes, suggesting it had very good eyesight. Writing in the journal Current Biology, Broussat and colleagues report how the fossils, which have been unveiled at the National Museum of Scotland, were discovered by PhD student Amelia Penny, who spotted the creature's skull during fieldwork on the Isle of Skye in 2017. It didn't look like anything else I'd seen, she told The Guardian. And there's a picture. I don't think that's the one they found. That's just a pterosaur. Fossil. I grew up going to the Natural History Museum in London and reading about Mary Anning's fossil discoveries on the Jurassic coast, which definitely influenced my decision to become a paleontologist, she added. But to find a new Jurassic reptile, especially a fossil of this significance, is not something I'd ever dared to expect might happen to me. Dr. David Unwin, an expert in pterosaurs at the University of Leicester, who was not involved in the research, said it was debatable whether the newly discovered creature was the largest of its era, noting some fragmented bones from other fossils have already hinted at similar-sized pterosaurs in the Middle Jurassic. It's party pooper, isn't it? Oh, I didn't find it, so, I've got to poo all over the research. Bring him back down to earth. Nonetheless, he said the find was significant because fossils dating to that time are scarce, while there are very few pterosaur remains that are as complete. This new find will allow us to go back to those older collections and understand much better what we've got in there. He said it's a big piece of the puzzle in our evolutionary history of pterosaurs, and that's it. So there you go, a new pterosaur that was the biggest for its time, but obviously, millions of years later, they got much bigger. And it's off into space now. Solar eruption captured in unprecedented image. And presuming this is it, yeah, Solar Orbiter spacecraft operated by NASA and the European Space Agency captured a giant solar eruption on February 15th. This is the largest solar prominence eruption ever observed in a single image, together with the full solar disk. And there it is. Look at that. It's it's easily the same, the width of the sun in it, the diameter, which is about 800,000 miles, about 1 million kilometres. So there you go. So that's how big that is. It's a big sun burp or sun fart, depending what you want to call it. A striking and unprecedented image of a solar eruption has been captured by NASA and the European Space Agency's Solar Orbiter spacecraft. It's the largest solar prominence ever observed in a single image, together with the full disk of the sun, ESA said in a statement released Friday. The solar eruption took place on February 15th and extended millions of miles into space. The image was taken by the full sun imager of the extreme ultraviolet imager on board the solar orbiter. The full sun imager is designed to capture the full solar disk even during close passages of the sun. Right now, there is still a lot of viewing margin around the disk, enabling stunning detail to be captured by FSI out to about 3.5 million kilometres, equivalent to 5 times the radius of the sun, ESA said. At closest approach on 26th of March, which will see the spacecraft pass within about 0.3 times the Sun-Earth distance, the sun will fill a much larger portion of the telescope's field of view. ESA described solar prominences as large structures of tangled magnetic field lines that keep dense concentrations of solar plasma suspended above the sun's surface, sometimes taking the form of arching loops. Solar prominences are often associated with coronal mass ejections, a hugely energetic explosion of light, solar material and energy from the sun. If these ejections are directed toward Earth, they can disrupt technology reliant on satellites. The ejections also cause the northern lights. However, in this instance, the coronal mass ejection was travelling away from us. Thank goodness. The ESA said the imagery would allow space experts to understand for the first time how events like these connect to the solar disk. The sun is getting more active. It started a new 11-year cycle in 2019, and that period's solar maximum, when activity peaks, is predicted to happen about halfway through 2025. It's important to understand the solar cycle because space weather caused by the sun, eruptions like solar flares and coronal mass ejection events can impact the power grid, satellites, GPS, airlines, rockets and astronauts in space. And there's a video of it, but it probably won't play anyway, so I won't show you it. Other space telescopes such as ESA, NASA SOHO satellite frequently capture solar activity but are unable to produce detailed images of the sun's corona or outermost layer, which is regarded as very difficult to study. Next week, the Solar Orbiter and NASA's Parker Solar Probe will conduct joint observations as Parker makes its next close pass-by to the sun. Last year, the Parker spacecraft became the first to touch the sun. It successfully flew through the sun's corona or upper atmosphere to sample particles and our star's magnetic fields. And that's it. What does this do? Let's have a play. It might play, I don't know. We'll see what happens. You might not hear it. There might not be any... no, it's not playing, is it? It's not playing. It just goes blank for some reason. I don't know why. Or maybe it is. I don't know. But there we go. If you can see it, there's like a solar prominence. Where are you going? Yeah. Anyway, that's it. Right. So we'll call it a draw. So I'll get rid of that. Ba-dum. And we'll call it quits. So until tomorrow, when I'm sure there'll be more news for me to read out to you and make a hash of it and burp and do all sorts of things. At least my stomach's not gurgling today. It was going mental yesterday. My stomach, it was going... For some reason, I don't know why, but it's okay today. I must have eaten something that set off my what they call it, juices in my stomach. There's a name for it, isn't there? That stuff that set it all off anyway. But not today. Right, so we'll leave it there. I've got a different top. Have you noticed? I've changed my top. I thought we'll go for brown for some reason. But anyway, so we'll leave it there, and until tomorrow, I'll say thee. Where's the button? I can't find the button. It's still saying I'll say thee. It's the end stream. So till tomorrow.